The Catalyst, a CEP podcast on bold leadership in the Ocala Metro. Hosted by the Ocala Metro Chamber and Economic Partnership. Sponsored by Douglas Law Firm. And recorded live at Wiley Productions Podcast Studios, located in Ocala, Florida. Welcome to The Catalyst. I'm your host, Natalie McComb, Vice President for the Ocala Metro Chamber and Economic Partnership Foundation. And today we have the privilege of welcoming Dr. Jim Henningsen, President of the College of Central Florida. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Woohoo! It's so good to be here. Great to see you, Natalie.
Yes, great to see you too, Jim. We appreciate you being on the show. And wow, 11 years at the helm of the College of Central Florida. As you kind of think back, certainly a lot to be proud of, but what are you most proud of?
Well, it's a lot. We've done a lot in that time period, but most proud of, I think, you have to look at the team, the people that are there. It doesn't happen without a great team, as you know, and we've just been really blessed with being able to find good talent. We had a lot of retirements during that time frame, so that was my biggest thing that keeps me up at night is how to keep that positive culture, how to keep that focus on excellence. And I think I'm very proud of the team in terms of being able to continually be ranked nationally as one of the top colleges in the country, just even with all that turnover and keeping the culture positive. So that once you have that in place, then you can do all the other great stuff and workforce programs and all the other things. That seems easy then, but you got to have a great team. Yeah.
And CF has definitely become a leader in the state of Florida for addressing local workforce needs. So what programs are you most excited to see grow over the next few years?
We have so many. I mean, we've really done a transformation of the college in terms of modernizing our workforce programs and making sure that they're what the industry needs in our local community. So there's been a lot of transition from programs we've had. Well, how come you got rid of that program? Well, we've had it for 30 years, but nobody needed the graduates. So we looked at what our industry, with CEP, our business partners, what's needed to keep our growth going. Healthcare was one of the biggest ones. And healthcare is one area that not just nursing, we knew we needed more nurses, everybody needs more nurses, but all the other allied health programs that had to go up on that. And also expanding into our business programs, that's one of our biggest ones. The business area, agribusiness, equine, we're still growing that one. We are the only college in the state with an equine program, but we've been making sure we modernize that, particularly with that new farm we have. But when you look at the growth and the facilities, the classrooms, the labs, the spaces, for health sciences and the funding that we've gotten from the state, we've been very fortunate about. They really like the way we do business at CF, and they've rewarded us with the funding for the buildings and the operating dollars to meet that industry need, particularly in the healthcare area.
That's wonderful. So according to the Florida Hospital Association, our state needs more than 60,000 nurses by 2035 to meet the state's projected healthcare needs. So what sets CF's nursing program apart from the rest? Obviously, it's an area of huge growth and investment, but what makes CF a little different?
Well, right now this year, we're ranked number one in the state between any university or college in terms of the number one rated nursing program. So that separates us a bit.
Yeah, it does.
That was nice to get that accolade for our team. We got a great nursing health science program and staff there. But I think what you're looking at is we've gone from, when I got here, about 150 students total in the 2-year program. We didn't have a 4-year BSN in nursing. We have that now. We're just over 100 students in that one. And in our 2-year degree in nursing, we're up at 275 capacity now. And with our new building that's going to start, we're going to have a groundbreaking this September. We're looking at, with that finished, being able to expand up to 325, 335 total students in a program, which is a big program for our region, our size college.
And how many RNs is that a year that'll be CF grads?
We're hoping for somewhere around 145 to 150 a year graduating.
Wow.
It could be a little bit more. Just depends on how long they take to get through it. We have a fast track. We're the only ones with a 17-month program. To get you through at that time, if you have the background experience already to go through and the aptitude to be able to take that many credits. But really exciting options. One of the things the legislature gave us big kudos on, they asked us to come up and present, and I went up with our dean in that area, Dr. Stephanie Cortez, who's fabulous. But they want to know, what are you doing in nursing? You got the number one rated program. You've had the largest donations of any college in the entire state for nursing in particular. What's in your secret sauce? I was like, well, that's top secret. I can't tell you that. But it's quality people, quality program, and they want to know all these different pathways. And we have a paramedic to RN bridge program. So if you're a paramedic, you want to be a nurse, make some more money, we've got a program to help you get through that quicker.
Yeah.
We've got a LPN bridge, that's a licensed practical nursing certificate students to get into a RN program too. So a lot of different pathways, a lot of creativity, and just a lot of, we've been very blessed with a lot of support locally, including that huge $6.7 million gift from Citrus County that allowed us to be matched for 6.7 from the state to just buy all these new simulators, new equipment, and to make nursing education free. So if you're a Citrus County resident right now, you can take our nursing program going forward free, which is really,
Wow,
really cool.
that's amazing.
Number one program.
Yeah. And even here in Marion County, it's very affordable in comparison to a lot of your competitors as well, which is, I think, a big hurdle for some where they're thinking, they may want to pursue that RN, but they're worried about cost. And
Sure.
that's where CF has been a leader, certainly in keeping the cost down for the students.
Yeah, even our university system, which is very affordable. If you get your program, go through the nursing program there, we're half the cost of the universities. And then when you look at the privates, we're about 1/5 the cost. Some of our local privates are 5 times our cost because they got to pay for all those costs. We're subsidized by the state. So we're extremely affordable, which is why we keep that ranking in the top 1% nationally.
Wow. And the college recently cut the ribbon on the newly renovated health sciences building, which is really an amazing space that has been transformed from what it once was, and kind of reinventing that space from what used to be a gym into now a state-of-the-art instruction facility with mock ORs and all of that. It was a decision that was criticized by some in the community because it meant eliminating the 3 popular sports programs that utilize that facility. What was the tipping point for you as a leader that led you to kind of go all in on this decision, knowing it was going to be a tough one?
Well, it's meeting the needs of our community and meeting the needs of industry. They needed more nurses, more health science programs. We got a hospital that's a level 2 trauma center now. We didn't have that 10 years ago. So the level of programming that we need to have to support the graduates and the skills of our graduates needed in those hospitals is different than it was 10 years ago. So we've had to expand and get into that. And that's one of the pieces where it was during the lean times. Not too long ago, we did have some lean years in funding. We keep our tuition flat. We don't raise tuition rates. That's the vision of the state. So that makes less revenue available. So trying to find the revenue to expand when you don't have it, you got to come up with creative strategies and using good sound business principles. And that's what we did. We looked at prioritization of programs. Our sports programs, even though we do them really well, we like to put our excellence on anything that we do. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it well. They did. We won a national basketball championship. That's not easy to do. Always a quality team, but it doesn't provide. Those students were mostly from out of state and from international. So they didn't stay here. We'd invest all that money in them, and then they weren't here. So we needed to find a way to, how do we expand programs, free up recurring operating dollars without any new money from the state? That was one way to do it. Those 3 teams were about $600,000 a year, recurring. Plus, it provided a facility for us that was in good shape to renovate at a lower cost. That's what the state loved. Once we told them that story, that's when they invested us in the whole plan for these health science buildings and the operating dollars. They said, Jim, we love what you're doing at these colleges. We got to get this done at other colleges too. But that's just bringing a business mindset to running education. And I think you just got to be willing to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, and it cascaded in some big wins for the college in terms of being able to invest more in those programs.
Huge wins. And we tried to raise money for athletics. We couldn't get donors. Donors around here are donating to the University of Florida and FSU primarily, and that's where the big money is going. They're not really interested in us, but when you talk about nursing, we're in the millions of dollars in terms of raised locally for nursing programs. So they really backed it up. The community backed it up with money for us to expand those programs, and the facility is amazing.
Yeah,
built at half the cost of what a new facility would be. We saved the state money. And we got a quality facility that's ready to pump out some graduates. If we can just find some of those faculty members. They're a little hard to find right now.
But who doesn't like to save a little bit of money? So what advice would you have for other leaders who might be listening who are facing similar tough decisions?
Well, I think one thing you got to look at is creativity and innovation. You can't rest on your laurels of history in terms of here's how we're funded and we always get a little more money every year so we can invest in programs when we need to. That's not the case anymore. The state looks for what's the best return on their investment of the dollars they have. And if you've got a better return than another entity in the state, they're going to put you higher up the priority ladder. Well, our governor has made it very clear, and I love his focus. We're going to be the #1 state for workforce education by 2030. So everything we do supports that. And that's why the legislature has really backed us up with different things, funding and the support, because we're willing to make those tough decisions. But yeah, for other leaders in education, you've got to be creative, you've got to be innovative. It's a competitive market, that we're not a monopoly. I mean, yes, we're part of the state system. I don't have a direct competitor as one of my sister institutions, but we have plenty of competitors, online, local for-profits or private nonprofits. We just got to be the best number one higher ed deliverer in the area, and that's our goal.
Yeah, yeah. And now you've had some other interesting challenges come about that CF has kind of had to step up in the community. So back in 2017, CF and the foundation came to the rescue of the Appleton Museum of Art when state funding was cut. Why do you think this was an important win for our local community?
Well, if you love the arts, when you look at quality of life, education, housing, jobs, but you also look at what's the art and culture available in your region. And the Appleton is a museum that should have been in Chicago, New York City, Washington, D.C., any major city. We have it right here in Marion County. It doesn't support just Marion County. We get people from Europe. We ask them, how'd you find us? Oh, well, we were vacationing in Florida. We knew this museum was here, so we wanted to go see that. So that's been it's a big museum. It's 85,000 plus square feet. It's got, Rodin's The Thinking Man, and where you got your arm out. We have one of them. We're the only one in Florida that has one. So that's really, really helpful. And it's just something that needed to happen for our community. And it took us 2 years to get the state funding back. But the community rallied behind it with our legislators to say, hey, this is really important. Without the state funding, we cannot keep that open and running. It's just like the Hearn Museum to University of Florida, which gets state funding, and the Ringling Museum to FSU. Our museum's right up there with them. We're one of the top 5 museums in the state for quality. And we're rated, accredited by AAM, the American Alliance of Museums, and they are same as the Smithsonian, which is really cool in terms of level of quality. So what you're seeing in there are top-notch pieces, and it's just an amazing collection that we continue to get donations from other museums to it. We got a $6 million plus donation of another museum that couldn't afford to stay running.
Wow.
They donated their items to us free of charge, delivered them to us, and we're bringing in the ones that we want to keep in our collection, and we'll move on some of the other ones to help the renovation and restoration of our existing pieces. So it's a huge gem for the community. And
for those of you who are listening who have never been to the Appleton, I definitely encourage you. We'll include a link on the episode page for you to be able to check that out, because the exhibits change often. There's always something interesting, and they have some wonderful children's programs as well, which is really a great way to be able to give back to the community and encourage children to be exploring arts as well.
And I always tell people, when you go in there, your jaw will drop once you see it. Our building by itself is all Italian marble that the original builder and the owner imported from Italy. It's an amazing facility.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you were once quoted as calling CF the partnership in ways in which the college has partnered with businesses and the community. So what advice do you have for other leaders who want to build successful partnerships that will help their organizations?
Well, it takes 2 to tango, right?
Yeah.
So you can't do it on your own. And one thing about partnership is we'll partner with anybody and everybody if it creates a win for our community. We have to do it together. Funding for the college, majority of that, almost all of it comes from the state, outside of the students' tuition. They love it when we have partners, if either businesses, and partnership is not just support with dollars, which we also get, but support with programming, the co-ops, internships, things of that nature. And those partnerships go a long way at realizing what our community can do. And I think one of the reasons why we're so, we have got phenomenal growth, and it's just been a great partnership with everybody, between our business community, our public, our government relations, all of those folks coming together, like the Appleton we just talked about. Without our legislative, our local leaders, the business community all saying to the state and our local delegation, this is important to this community and it's important to the state to continue to fund this, it wouldn't have happened. By myself, it's harder to do, but I'm always out there stumping for more partners, how we can leverage and create win-wins, and ultimately the third win being for the whole community.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Wonderful. And I know the CF and the Ocala Metro Chamber and Economic Partnership, we've partnered on a lot of different projects as well as it relates to workforce development. And there's always new opportunities down the road as we look at what our community needs. So what is one nonprofit organization that you'd like to highlight today? This is a question we ask all of our guests on the Catalyst. And I know you've been involved in many boards and many charities, but what's one you want to highlight for our listeners today?
In terms of nonprofits out there, there's so many great ones. I've been on so many different boards, but I'll quickly mention two. One is the Marion County Humane Society. I love being on that board and seeing the animals that need homes, they need help. Someone to put a hand out or a paw out to help them survive and then find a loving forever home, because we usually get rescues at our home. And it's just that it fills my cup being able to help that organization and to be a part of the mission of that one. The other is United Way. I've been on the United Way board since being here, and that one I'm currently chair. I've already chaired the annual campaign, but looking at one of the things I like about the United Way board is when you look at it is we put that money back into this community.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. And we'll include links to both of those nonprofits on our episodes page as well, so you can check them out for yourself. And now a word from our sponsor.
Hello, I am Charlie Douglas with the Douglas Law Firm. We are a full-service law firm with many practice areas to serve your particular needs. The Douglas Law Firm is located in downtown Ocala at 110 North Magnolia Avenue. Give us a call today for a free consultation, or visit us at dhclawyers.com.
Now is the fun part of the interview that I always love. It's our lightning round questions. So you ready, Jim?
Oh, is this a game show? No,
Yes,
let's play the lightning round for 100.
Lightning round questions. So what trait do you value most from members of your team? I know we talked about team earlier.
Well, teamwork is everything, but commitment to the mission. Everyone is on board. You've got to be committed to our mission. If you're not, we may turn you into a customer. But we love having people who are committed.
Yeah. And how would you describe yourself in one word?
It's hard to do it in one word. My wife's got a few of those, but anyway. But I think driven to excellence, if I could put three words together.
That's permissible, yes.
Yeah, driven, I'm very driven just by nature of my personality, but you have to look at why. I'm driven because I want to excel, and I want the organization to excel. So that's kind of driven to excellence is probably it for me.
Wonderful. First job. What was it, and what did you learn from that experience?
You know, it's interesting. I think a lot of kids had this as their first job, mowing lawns, doing yard work. And, what was I, 12, 13 years old? And I was like, I just want to get this done. It's so hot out here. But mowing, one of the things I learned from that is because one of the persons that I mowed their lawn for was a university professor. And he was always big on teaching. And one of the things was how to do the job well. So don't just mow the lawn and then run around the riding mower and go back to the garage. You got to ride the mower, do the weeding. You got to do the trimming. You got to make it look great. Leave it better than you found it. And I really learned to hone that skill and apply that to everything else you're doing later on. Do the job well the first time.
Love that. Love that. The lessons you can learn from mowing lawns. And who is a leader that you admire?
Well, he's not around anymore, but I always go back and everyone says, well, that's an easy one, Jim. Everybody picks that one. But Abraham Lincoln, there's a great little leadership book. It's even got pictures, but Don Phillips, Lincoln on Leadership. One of the things I love about Lincoln is he was a servant leader. I kind of consider that my same calling card in terms of, and I'm not Abraham Lincoln or anything like that, but I love giving back, and I'm there to help others, not about me as the leader. So, and that's what the way Lincoln was.
Okay, Lincoln on Leadership. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jim, for being on the Catalyst today. We appreciate your time, and thank you again for joining us.
My pleasure, and thanks for doing this. This is great, great, great show.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Catalyst, hosted by the Ocala Metro Chamber and Economic Partnership, sponsored by Douglas Law Firm, and recorded live at Wiley Productions Podcast Studios. New episodes, guests, and perspectives on leadership premiere twice a month. Follow us on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Have a suggestion for a future guest? Email us at thecatalyst@ocalacep.com.